This is Wander Realms, and today we invite you to loosen your grip on the familiar and drift southwest, where the Atlantic breathes mist onto copper-red sand and the Milky Way pours silver over the plains. We are going deep into Namibia, Africa's vast desert kingdom, to reveal the very best places to visit. Not the bland list you find on every travel blog, but a living, breathing journey that strings each location together like beads on a nomad's necklace. Close your eyes, put on your headphones, and let every sentence carry you farther from routine and closer to wonder. Imagine dawn in the Namib Desert. The darkness brightens by degrees, revealing contours that seemed flat under starlight. Suddenly the sun breaks the horizon, and the dunes ignite, orange, crimson, flaming vermilion. This is Sossusvlei, home to the planet's most photogenic sand. Stand atop Dune 45 before the light fully floods the valley. You feel as if you are teetering on the edge of an ancient sand ocean. Each footstep kicks loose grains that tumbled here long before humans scribbled their first dreams on cave walls. At the base of those dunes lies Dedvlei, a clay pan where blackened camel thorn skeletons reach upward like charred prayers. 6 centuries ago, a river rerouted and left these trees stranded. The air is so dry that time refuses to finish the job of decay, preserving them in ghostly perfection. Take 20 slow breaths here. Count the cracks spiraling through the earth like tiny canyons. Listen. You can almost hear the long hush of history. Leave the pan and drive southeast along Oka tracks into Namib Rand Nature Reserve. The fences are gone. Wildlife ranges freely. By day, Gemsbok carve elegant silhouettes against pastel hills. By night, the sky becomes a cathedral of stars. In 2025, Namib Rand became Africa's first designated wilderness quiet park, where human noise averages quieter than a whisper. Sit beneath that firmament and watch the universe turn. Your own heartbeat will sound like a drum. If you stay at one of the low-impact lodges, remember that every dollar funds anti-poaching patrols and school fees for neighboring communities. Here, tourism is not a transaction, it is an exchange of stewardship. From the calm of Namib Rand, veer toward the Atlantic until sand meets surf in a collision of worlds. Sandwich Harbor greets you with sinuous dune spines plunging straight into turquoise water. Seen from above, the shoreline looks like ribbon candy, gold interlaced with aquamarine. Wadebirds pick through tidal flats. If the wind permits, book a 4x4 conv that snakes over dune crests before dropping to the beach. The engine roars, the tires hiss, and suddenly you have become a comet trailing plumes of sand across a Martian coast. Pause long enough to notice the salt smell, the hush between gusts, the distant bark of a Cape fur seal. Drive north and the coast turns eerie. Shipwrecks jut from gray sand like the ribs of fallen leviathans. Welcome to the Skeleton Coast. Portuguese sailors once called it the gates of hell. Pilots today call it sublime. Fog drapes the desert in gauze, rolling and coiling until nothing remains but silhouettes. Above you circle black-backed jackals, while at Cape Cross more than 200,000 seals rasp, bicker, and dive into icy surf. Stay silent, and you might glimpse a desert-adapted lion, leaner than its savanna cousins, padding over dune crests in pursuit of the seals whose oily bodies fuel its survival. No other place on Earth stages this unlikely theater, where apex predators hunt between waves and sand. Just south of Skeleton Coast, civilization flickers alive in Swakopmund, a town where German Art Nouveau facades wear salt spray like makeup. Palm trees line the promenade, chocolateries scent the air with warm cocoa. It is a bizarre, charming contrast to the loneliness beyond. If your heart craves adrenaline, skydive from 12,000 feet. Tumble through arid updrafts while the Atlantic glints to your left and dune fields glow to your right. A split screen of infinities. Prefer to keep feet on the ground? Ride a fat tire bike down dune faces or paddle a kayak among pelicans in Walvis Bay where flamingos sift shrimp in ballet formation. Swakopmund is the breathing space between extremes. Now set a northerly course toward Damaraland, an expanse that whispers of prehistory. Basalt ridges rise like sleeping dragons, pastel mesas fade into dusty lavender at dusk. Somewhere among those folds walks the desert elephant, lankier, long-legged, capable of 70-kilometer water-seeking treks. Track them with a local guide who reads hoof prints like lines of poetry. As evening mellows, park below Spitskop, Namibia's Matterhorn, a granite monolith glowing peach and apricot in the sinking light. Sit still as the rock swallows warmth, then breathes it back into the cooling air. Feel dwarfed and feel at peace. Further east, the landscape turns white, blinding, shimmering, uncompromising. This is Etosha Pan, a 5,000 square kilometer salt flat that flickers like ice beneath the sun. Encircling that void, Etosha National Park stages wildlife drama with an economy of movement. You don't chase animals, you wait. Waterholes act as theater stages. Elephants enter stage right, dousing themselves in white dust until they look sculpted from chalk. Giraffes stoop in impossible slow-motion bows to drink. Black rhinos rendezvous at dusk, their horns carving silhouette poems against cobalt twilight. Namibia, unique on the continent, wrote conservation into its constitution. As a visitor, you become part of that covenant. Your park fees pay for rangers. Your photos become silent endorsements of protection. When your soul yearns for flowing water, drive northwest into Kayakoland. There, the Cunene River slices emerald ribbon between steep scorched hills before cascading over Epupa Falls. The spray atomizes into rainbows that shimmer above baobab crowns. Himba villages dot the cliffs. Women coat their skin in ochre butter, sculpting hairstyles that chart milestones of age and motherhood. Accept an invitation to sit, ask questions, share laughter. Realize that travel is not just landscapes. It is a conversation with difference. Slide eastward through broadleaf savanna until sand yields to swamp in the Zambezi region, formerly the Caprivi Strip. Suddenly, the air thickens with humidity, papyrus whispers, and fish eagle cries. Makoro canoes glide through lily-spangled channels. Hippos bubble like cauldrons. Elephants cross in purposeful lines, water swirling around knobby ankles. The Zambezi region is part of the KAZA Transfrontier Conservation Area, the largest on Earth, knitting Namibia to Angola, Botswana, Zambia, and Zimbabwe. Boundaries blur, life reigns. If your legs still itch, fly south to Luderitz, a seafront oddity where Art Nouveau mansions cling to granite and wind rips the Atlantic into whitecaps. A short drive inland lies Kolmanskop, a ghost town half-surrendered to dunes. Sand pours through doorways like liquid time, stripped wallpaper curls in oceanic patterns. Wooden beams creak under a silence thicker than dust. Every room is a still frame of entropy. Let your camera linger, let the wind whistle through broken glass. Head further south still, and the land splits open into Fish River Canyon, the second largest canyon on the planet. Stand on the rim as sunrise unspools gold across layered gorges. It feels primitive, colossal, unapologetic. Hikers brave a multi-day trek beneath those rim walls, descending into furnace heat, following a river that braids silver through the chasm. For the rest of us, a single hour at the viewpoint supplies enough ore to last a lifetime. On the return, pay homage to the quiver tree forest near Keetmanshoop. Hundreds of Allodichotoma cluster on granite outcrops like frozen fireworks. Their silver bark glows honey at sunset, then the sky dims and constellations pour forth. Photographers know this place as a gateway to astrophotography heaven, but you need no camera to feel small, fragile, wonderfully alive beneath so wide a universe. Begin the loop north along the B1. Halfway to Windhoek, the Waterberg Plateau rises abruptly, a sandstone citadel capped by emerald woodland. Rare roan and sable antelope graze among fountains of wild sage. Rhino reintroduction projects thrive atop the plateau's natural fortress, safe from poachers. Trails lace the escarpment, leading to lookouts where vultures draft thermal columns. At dusk, ochre cliffs light up like embers, then fade to dusky rose. Windhoek itself is Namibia's beating logistical heart. Here efficient roads radiate towards every wonder we have discussed. Spend a day exploring craft markets, humming with Ovambo baskets, Damara sculptures, and Herrero doll figurines, each object a narrative in fiber and stone. Climb the bell tower of Christoskirch for an aerial sweep of city grids meeting khaki hills. Sip a locally brewed Weissbier at a sidewalk cafe and toast a nation that balances German colonial residue with fiercely modern African identity. Yet Namibia's map still harbors corners untouched. Drive east of Windhoek to the Kalahari's rust-striped savannas, where cheetahs weave between camel thorns and suricates, meerkats stand sentinel. Head north to the remote Marienfluss Valley, where Himba cattle trails splay like arteries across lime-green grass in rainy season. Charter a light plane to the remote Diamond Restricted Area No. 2, now that Sauleta-1C1 Kareb National Park, where wild horses run through shimmering mirages amid lichens that bloom only when fog touches stone. The list unfurls beyond itinerary and becomes poetry, but every wonder described here shares a common thread: resilience. Namibia is a masterclass in survival, plants harvesting fog, elephants mastering thirst, cultures preserving dignity under sun that shows little mercy. Why visit? Because standing in such landscape shifts inner tectonics. You realize that comfort is an illusion, that beauty often hides in hardship, and that silence can roar louder than applause. When planning, remember distances are deceptive. Gravel roads demand slower speeds, wildlife has right of way. Rent a sturdy vehicle, carry double the water you think you need, and never drive after dark. Night belongs to antelope and potholes. Travel between May and September for mild days and crisp nights, perfect for stargazing. Visit December through March if you crave electric thunderstorms and newborn antelopes stumbling on new legs. Whenever you arrive, tread lightly, pack out trash, support community-owned camps. Tip guides whose knowledge transforms landscape into story. Before this journey ends, picture one last scene. You're camping beside the Okakujo waterhole in Etosha. Midnight. A full moon smears light across the salt pan. Elephants emerge, silent despite their thunderous weight, and drink. A black rhino enters next, horn glinting like obsidian. Somewhere beyond the reach of human lamps, a lion coughs. The sound vibrates through your ribcage. You inhale cool night air scented with wild basil. In this moment, you understand that travel, when done with reverence, is a ceremony, an exchange of presence for perspective. If these images stirred something inside you, let that ember glow. Subscribe to Wander Realms and ring the bell so you never miss another cinematic pilgrimage. Share this video with anyone who needs to breathe bigger, think wider, or dream with their eyes open. And tell us in the comments, which Namibian place called your name the loudest? Thank you for walking these miles with us, in mind and in heart. Until our next adventure, stay curious, stay gentle, and remember, the world is vast, but wonder is always within reach.